If you have ever studied CSS, you may have come across the DOM method, but if you've not, no problem, we'll explain it here. Let me explain the DOM method to you in this lecture. Okay, so actually, what happens in the DOM method? So first of all, we have the root element, which we identify with the name of HTML tag. Then we have the head, the body, and the tail. So HTML is basically when there is one tag in another tag. We'll call the main tag as parent and the other one as child. So these both are the main tags, but they are the main tags in HTML. So HTML is their parent element, and they both are child elements of HTML. So this is the first child element, and this is the second child element, as head comes first and body comes last. So in the parent head tag here we have the title, meta, link. They are all child. They are the children because they are under head. So head is their parent, but head is the parent of HTML. Yeah, so head is the parent in HTML. So like this, we have the tags in the body as well, i.e. the header, the section, the footer. They are all child of the body, and the body is their parent. But the body is also the second child of HTML. So this is how we have our DOM model. In JavaScript, when we have to edit our elements, we should have some knowledge about the DOM method, so that we should be aware of how to do these kind of things. Alright, so after this, we have more things like, for example, the header, the section, the footer, and the body tag. So I took them as an example. There can be more as well. Okay, so we took some tags in the section as well. Like here, for example, we took H1 and P tag in the section. H1 and P tags are the child of the section. The section is the child of the body, and the body is the child of HTML, and HTML is a root element from which this process starts. Alright, so this was the parent and child, but now we're going one step forward. That is how to use them in JavaScript. So we do call them nodes in JavaScript. Alright, so when we write the body, we'll call it element node. This will be the element node, and this will also be called the element node. But when we use the attribute, then we'll call it the attribute node. But we can also call it the element node. So if you write some text in it, for calling that text, we'll do the text node. So why do we use them? If we want to get anything, like for example, if you want to get any data from them, then we'll use the keyword get. If you want to set anything, then we'll use the keyword set. So if you want to increase the HTML element by using the DOM model, then we'll use the add HTML element, which means that we'll see how to add a new element. Alright, so we can delete the HTML element here as well, and that was it for the DOM model. We can also call it a DOM tree. And now on to the next lecture. Alright, so after the DOM model, we'll see how we can target the objects. So all the classes in the element tag, let's see how we can target them. Okay, so we have three methods in the DOM tree. We can call the element with its ID, tag name, or class name. By using these three methods, we can target our element and can change them. So now I'll write name, whatever my tag name is, or I'll write document.getElement by ID, and then I'll call my ID. Then similarly, I'll write document.getElement by tag name. Alright, so sorry, I wrote element here. We need to write elements because the DOM model has a lot of elements. Okay, so and in a similar manner we'll do the document.getElement by class name, and we'll write the name of the class. So they were our target DOM object, meaning that we target our tags, ID, and classes in this way. But we have more targeting methods in which you have document.all, head, title, body, images, links, anchors, doc type, URL, and yeah, so these are the basic ones. Okay, so we'll check one by one, like how they work. So now I'm in my VS Code, in which I made a small structure of my web page. And as you can see, I've made a header, a top bar, and a sidebar. I've added some content in it. So now I'll open the console. And after opening the console, you have to open the document because JavaScript has already been installed in the browser. So if you want to write JavaScript, then we can write in the whole console without using any editor. It's like an editor to us that we don't need any software. We can do it directly here, but the software is much more convenient because in it we can get like some suggestions automatically, meaning that when we get some errors during the coding process, it can be easily highlighted here. Alright, so in the console log, it only highlights the main code where there is an error in the code. Basically, both are the same, but the console.log is mostly used to check the problems. So now we'll perform our task. I'll write document here. I'll press enter. Now I got hashtag document. In hashtag document, I got all the structure automatically. And as you can see, I have my style sheet that has appeared. So now I'll tell you one thing. By default, you can see that the coding as JavaScript is here in front of us. Actually, I've opened it in the live server. So if I copy the file path and print it here, then if I write document.write in the console, I'll open this, then my DOM model will open clearly. So see, the style sheet has appeared, and after that I opened body. In body, all of the things I've opened, so all of my model will be opened in this one. But if we open it in the live server, we'll find some difficulties. So it's been an injected code by the live server. It's showing the code by default, so it's saying that upgrade your browser. This browser is not supported, so I'll close this. If you want to remove this code, click on this button. In every browser there is a different function, but they work similarly. Now first of all, we'll use our document.all keyword. In this one, all the elements which I've used have been shown. Whatever we have in the li, it's been shown. So this is how it was displayed basically. After this, we have the document.head. In this one, we've shown all the things that we had. So if I write document.title here, it will display the document which was written. If I write document.body here, it will show me all of the body. After this one, I have document.anchor. I'm not having any collection here, but if I use link, it will show me the anchor tag. Okay, so now if I write document.links and put the brackets here, I put number index here. So whatever anchor I've used, it provides me the details about this. So like this, if I write the document.link using square brackets and write 5 here, so it has done this. If I provide something that's not available in it, like if I write 50 for example, it tells me that it's undefined. So like this we can check all of them. So yeah, so we have additional things as well, like the base URI. So let's see how it works. If you use this in any website, Like, so used console there, it will open the domain name. After this, we're having some more, like if I write document.images here, so here I'm having one image, it's displayed in front of us, so it showed me the one image. If I write document.url, so in the URL it's also displaying like this. After this we have the document.forms. In the forms we are having nothing, so it shows us nothing. And so yeah, we're having document.doctype as well. In this one I'm having my HTML file, so it's displayed like this. Yeah, like we can use it like this. Sometimes you have to check the elements in the console.log, like in which part you have used the index. So we move further to our next step to learn how we'll use document.getElement by ID. Let's see how it works. So I deleted this, and now if I write like document.getElement by ID now, so if I write the header here, I'll show you like where I've used the heading of the header. So look here, I've used the heading of header, in which I've used the header of h1. It has displayed h1 and nothing else. So like this, I will call some more content, like content I'd like to show. So here I have to delete everything and I have to write it again. Now I'll write content here. In the content, it's displaying all tags, paragraph. And after this, we have the tag name like document.getElement by tag name. And I write the UL in the brackets. So in these all UL tags, which are now displayed, I can now also search for it, like how. I have again pasted it. And after this, I'll write their index. So I want that my 0 index be displayed. I copy this to check the third index. I have to paste this again. So if I write 2 here, so as you can see, it's displaying 2. So now I can see these things in front of me. So now I'm having the class one. I'll delete this and now I'll write document.getElement by class name. If I write the class name, it will display all of the classes by name. So here I've used some classes according to the list. I've used 2 classes in named of list. Like I've used 2 classes using the named list, and it's been displayed if I put the index here. So yeah, it will work the same. So if I write 1 here, it will show me the classes which are on 1. And like this, we can target all the things that we need. And in the coming lectures, we'll see how we can call in our websites, and we'll check all these kind of things like in depth. We'll see how all of this works in depth. And now on to the next lecture. Alright, so we learned in the DOM tree presentation that we use the DOM tree to get the values of an element, to set their values, or to delete, modify the values of elements. Now we'll learn about the get methods in the DOM model. So the get methods in the DOM model are inner text, inner HTML, the get attribute node, attributes. We'll check all these methods one by one in this lecture. So now, here I am in my VS Code. If you're making a separate JavaScript file and want to link it with your HTML file, then you have to put your script tag at the last position, because whenever our website loads, then the HTML file will be loaded first and then the script will be loaded. So if we load the script first, then it will show us everything undefined. Okay, so I'll make a variable name. In the name, I'll write document.getElement by ID, and then I'll call an ID, and in the ID, I'll write header. I save it, and now I'll call this variable in the console.log. I'll go to the console.log, and as you can see, it's showing all my objects through element by ID. I'll check all the get method one by one. So I'll write inner text, I save it, and as you can see, it's shown all the text in the header. So now I'll clear it. I want to check the inner text by calling my ID in the document.getElementById. And as you can see, it's shown MetaBrainz. So in the console.log, it shows in a little beautiful way the command that we've written. So now I'll copy it. I want to check my next method. I want to check the inner HTML. So there is no inner HTML in the header. That's why it has shown undefined. Alright, so I'm taking a class footer, and as you can see, it's showing MetaBrainz in the footer as well. So I'll take the sidebar, and here you go, it displayed the data, like we have the data as an output. So I have mistakenly wrote inner text. I want to get inner HTML, and as you can see, it displayed all the HTML that are present in my inner HTML. So this is the basic use of this method. Now we'll check the get attribute. Basically, attribute refers to all the attributes in our tag. So I'll check in the first one. Now I'll use attribute in this header. I'll use a class with the name of no class, style, background color, green. Now I'll write document.getElementById. I'll call my header in it. I'll write .getAttribute class, and then I press enter. So as I took a class with the name of no class, it has shown me that I have to set it again and again. So I'll go to VS Code. I'll write get attribute class, I save it, and as you can see, it's showing me no class again. So we have another option. So if I write style, so as you can see, it's printed the value of style. After that, we'll check the value. It's showing me undefined. Actually, this value keywords works in attribute node. So now I'll remove it and show you the node. Node works in the same way. It prints the value as it is. If I copy it and paste it here, you can see it printing, like it's printing the same attribute. But if I use value, then it will show me only the value. So I'll not recommend this. Okay, I'll advise you to use the get attribute, since node is not very important. So now I'll remove all of this. I'll write attributes, I save it, and apparently it's creating a problem because of the latest version. But if I check it directly in the console log, as you can see, it's made an object. That's how much IDs I have, in which the index class and the style are. So which one is the class? What is its address? Yeah, basically, so it's displaying everything, the style as well as the class that I've used, and who's the owner of the element, and yeah, so basically this is how to check the get methods. And alright, so we're done with this lecture, and now on to the next one. In the last lecture, we learned about the DOM model. So in this video, we'll continue to learn all the concepts of the DOM model. Okay, so first of all, we'll see how to do styling in the DOM model. So I've made this container in which I've given the header, MetaBrainz, heading, lists, and MetaBrainz footer in the last one. So the reason why I'm making this, like before going deeper into the topic, is just to save time and show you directly the result. So I put script tag here, and for your convenience, I'll provide all these things that you see in front of you in the source code materials, so that you will not worry about how does it work, and you will know exactly by reading the source code like how all of this works. Alright, so first of all, I'll make a variable with the name of element. I save it, then I'll call my element and write document.querySelector. I'll call my ID. Right now, it might be difficult for you, but it's actually not that tough because of the keywords query selector, which is used to select any class or ID. Alright, now I'll write header. I'll let you know why I did it this way. So, and as you can see, I've already taken an ID with the name of header. So now I'll give anything here. So it will call header ID here. I'll use the dot style keyword so that I'll get to know what style I've used in the header. I'll check the border. I save it. We'll open the console log. So let me check if I used the style or not. And yes, I've used it. And actually the mistake is that I didn't call it. So I'll write console.log. I'll call the element as I have to display in the console log. So here you go. As you can see, we have like 1 pixel solid black, which has appeared in front of us. If I take anything which I did not call, like let me remove this green color and save it. And as you can see, it's showing empty string because I didn't try it this in the style. So I'll copy this part, I'll paste it here, then I'll write dot style as I want to change its background. So I'll write background. You don't have to put the dash sign, you just have to use the capital letters instead of the dash sign. Okay, so then I'll put the red color, I save it, and as you can see, it changed to a red color. So this is how you can change the color of anything. If I want to change the color of the subheading, then I'll write ID content and we'll give the color. Then its color will be changed. And do remember that we'll not give it to the div, we'll give it to the h2. So let me show you how to do that. I'll give ID subheading, I save it, and now I'll copy this part, I'll paste it here, we'll comment this part as I don't need it. And here with my query selector, I'll write subheading. Actually, I haven't used style, so I'll have to use the style. And now I'll write color instead of background. Okay, I'll save it. And as you can see, the subheading turned into a red color as I have written red here. So if I write brown, I save it. As you can see, it turned into brown color. So this is how we can change the color of anything. This was the way to select the ID, but now we'll learn how to do this through class. Okay, so we'll check the class name. With the class name, we can make the classes by using the JavaScript. So I'll copy this part, I'll comment it, and we'll paste it here. Now I'll work through the class name. I'm selecting header and I'm writing dot class name with the name of head. And as you can see, it didn't work, so I'm telling you why it happened. I'll scroll upward to CSS. When the header is used, I'll use a class head. We'll give the background color aqua. I save it. And as you can see, the aqua color didn't work on it as I've already used the class. Okay, so if I remove this class and save it, as you can see, the aqua color has appeared in front of us. So this happened basically because making this class name head. And yeah, so now you will claim that we can make a new class without using JavaScript. So the answer is that we have to do the styling in JavaScript, then we have to use these methods. Actually, it's not that important, you just have to know the basics of class name. We can make multiple classes as well. For that, we have a method of class list. So now I'm removing this, I'm putting the names of classes head and hello in between brackets. I save it, and as you can see, the classes have appeared with the name head and hello in the console log. If I return class list here as well, then it's showing me in a function DOM token list that head is at 0 index, hello is at index 1. Alright, so we have a method of .ClassList.add in which we can add the classes. So I'll remove this, I'll add my classes head h1 in brackets, I save it, and now as you can see, the head and the h1 have appeared here. So if I add another class x, y, and z, then it will appear here as well. Okay, so now I'll go to header, I'll give class with the name of head, h1, xyz, and I save it. I'm going to remove these classes here, I save it, and as you can see, it's still showing because I already have 3 classes up there, but I want to remove the xyz class, so I'll write remove open brackets, xyz, close brackets, I save it, and as you can see, it has removed the xyz class. Alright, so there are other methods as well, which we'll check in the upcoming lectures. And yeah, so basically for now, this is how we can do the styling in the DOM model and how we can create the new classes. Alright, and now on to the next lecture. In this lecture, we'll learn about Add Event Listener, how it can be used, and its main purpose. Alright, so if you remember my previous lecture, we talked about events like what function will be performed when I click the mouse button, or what function will run when I press on the keyboard key. Alright, so in all of this, we discussed, like we talked about events, and now we'll use all these concepts in JavaScript, like, for example, I've used here the unload, and I wrote fun here, and after that I'll add in the JavaScript tag, which I'm having here, and since we're working on the add event listener, our work becomes much more, much easier. So as you can see, we don't have to open the HTML file times and times again. So in JavaScript, we can simply use the tag to select such a thing, and we can add events there. Alright, so now as you can see, this is my JavaScript file. It's a small work, that's why I need not to make a separate file. So here, I've made a variable. I've used the DOM targeting method. What I'll do now here is that I'll just use the onClick method here. I'll write this function named as fun. I'll copy this, I paste it in it, and now here I'll just select style.background. So in the background I'll use the red color. You won't see anything, but if I click here it's showing red, and even when I refresh the page it's still showing me red. So if I write yellow here and I save it, it's showing yellow now. Okay, so if I make it in a separate file, still it will not change. So it's not, nothing has changed basically. I'll not have to open my HTML again and again. I'll just call my IDs and we'll put events and run the functions. This is the way to run the onClick events. Okay, so we have one more method, which is the add event listener. I'll write add event listener, I put the brackets here, I write click here, and I'll call my function here and write fun. And now I'll remove this, I save it, and actually I have made a mistake here, so I've written this in my string. We have to write it down like here, outside of the brackets. So if I'm clicking here, it's appearing in yellow. If I write pink here, and as you can see, it turned pink here, so like this, the elements work. Okay, we're having another method in which we have to call the functions into the events. I'll copy this, I paste it. I'll use this click one, but I'll make the function, so I'll just write document.getElementById and call the header. After header, I'll write style.color green because I want to change the color and save it. And after that, when I will click, its background will become pink and green. So like this, we can run our functions perfectly. Alright, that's pretty much it for this lecture. And now on to the next one. Now we'll use the useCaptor function. So first of all, we'll add events, and then we'll use the function. So let me show you how it works. I'm using the script tag here. I took some things related to my previous lecture. So as you can see here, we used the toAdd event, and then we used to give the name of our function, and we write function, and we add the event in the parameters. So we use the use capture because its statement should run. So for example, I have two divs here. This is their CSS. I've made this. I'll put events in both of them, but I want that every event should work after a specific time. Like if I put the first event on this one and the second event on this one, then its event should run first, and after that this event should run. So the event will run on both, but in a sequence. Both of them will not work instantly. Alright, so how does it work? Let me show you. Here, I'm removing all of this. I'll write document.querySelector. I'll use my class with the name of inside, and then I'll put add event listener, and in that I'll use the click event. So then I'll write my function. I took nothing in function. I'm taking the alert. I'm getting a problem here, apparently. Okay, so actually we don't have to write it in commas. I removed the commas, I write it here, and now I'll write this is an inner SIE, in alert, I save it. Now I'll use the second one, I'll copy it, I'll paste it here, I save it. I'll put the outside class, I save it. I'll change it to outside, but we'll leave other things similar. Alright, I save it. Yeah, I leave everything intact. So I save it, and now when I click on it, it's showing inner SIE. So then I click on OK, and I'm getting the outside alert box. Now, if I click here, it's showing outside. If I click here, it will show outside because I've put events here. Alright, so here I made a spelling mistake. Now, as you can see, if I click on outside, then I'll get the outside event. And if I click here, then I'll get both events one by one. I clicked OK, and as you can see, it's showing me the outside event now. Okay, so now we'll see the use capture. The use capture is the last parameter in the add event listener. If we want to use any event, then we can do it by the use capture. There are only two values in it, i.e. true or false. Let me show you how does it work. So I clicked here, both events are running, but when I click here, only one event is getting used. So I'll use the false here and the true here. I save it, and now as you can see, I'm clicking here and the outside event is running because the outside one is true and the inside one is false. So that's not running. Alright, so we have a true value by default, which can be quite useful in our projects. Alright, so we're done with this lecture, and now on to the next one. In this lecture, we'll learn about the class list method. So there are 5 methods in it. The first method we have is related to add and remove, like how we can add and remove classes. We usually create classes in CSS, but here the new thing is that our class adds or removes by putting an event. So how does it work? I've made an event here. I gave a function of fun. I wrote the document.getElementById. I gave the yellow style background, and now I want that when I click on this, then some classes should be created in the header. So how can it happen? Let me make a class in CSS. I'm making a class under the header. I made it with the name of new class. I'm giving it the background color of red. I save it, and now let's see how will I do it. So I'll remove this part. I'll use my class list method. I'll use the add, and after that I'll make a class with the name of class1. I save it. Now I'll comment it, and as you can see, nothing is working in it. So I'll check my class by pressing on F12. I went to elements and opened ID, clicked on header, and now as you see, there are only ABC classes and header class in it. Alright, now I'll uncomment it, I save it. So actually here I wrote the class 1, but it should be class new. Yeah, actually I gave new class because I took like the new class. So I save it, and now as you can see, if I click on it, it turns red, like it turns red when I click on it. Alright, so now I'll check in the elements. I'll go to the div, and as you see, like one more class has been formed, which is related to the new class. Alright, so let me now add some more classes. I'll write here second class, I save it, I'll click in it, and you can change the color if you want. So I used it so that you can know that second class has been added. Okay, this is how you can add our classes by using an event. We can make classes by using a different method as well, but we use the class list for making a class by an event. So if I want to remove it, then I can do it as well. So I can do that as well if I want. Now I want that when I click on it, then any class should be removed. So how can we do it? I'll replace the add with remove. I saved it. Let me show you by opening the console again. So let me open it here on the left side. So it's showing two classes here. Now I'll click here, and as you can see, no function is working. Why? Because no class has been added yet. So if I select add, I save it, and now as you can see, classes are forming with my clicks. So if I want to remove it, if I want to remove just one class, I'm removing second class so that my color should not change. Okay, now I'll remove it, I save it, and as you can see, both of them have been removed. Because here it's written that this class should be removed, that's why it's getting removed. So we'll put the add method, and then it will be added. But if you want our class to be removed by passing an event, this is how we can do it. Okay, so now we'll check our next two methods in which the length and the toggle comes. In the length method, we can get its length. For example, if I use some more classes here with the name of second, third, I save it, and now I'm using the length method. I save it. I don't need to use this, so I'm commenting and copying it. I've commented it, and now I'll copy this part. So here I'll make a variable with the name of again. I'll display it there, and then I'll remove this comment. I save it, and now I'll write console log. I'll call my variable again. I save it. Now I'll open the console. Will not get its value because I did not use the length method. So here I don't have any need to write this part. I'll just write class list.length. I save it, and now as you can see, it's showing me 1 because I have one class. If I add more classes, then there will be more classes, but this is not a big issue. We can do it if you want. Alright, so if I comment it, I save it, still we don't have any issue. Now our next target is toggle. So in toggle, we want that when we click, our class should be added, and if we click again, then our class should be removed. So in the previous events, we saw that classes were getting added or removed by the clicks, but in the toggle classes, it will be added and it will be removed as well. So how does it happen? I'm using toggle method, and I'm removing these two classes. Now I'll check their elements before saving it. So I went to elements, and there is only the ABC class. Now I save it. I'm clicking here. So the new classes are getting added, and if I click again, then some classes are getting removed. So this is how we can add or remove classes with the help of events. Now we'll move to our next method, which is the class list contain and item. First of all, I'll make you check the item. So to do that, I'll have to comment this part because it will open in our console. I'll uncomment it, and we'll use the item instead of length. After using the item, I'll write 1, I save it. I went to console, it's showing undefined because there's no class on the 1 index. So I'm putting 0, I save it. And here, we'll not use these brackets. So we'll use small brackets. And now, as you can see, it's showing ABC. If I put 1, it's showing null, which means no value. I'll go to header, I'll add classes, class 1, I save it, And now, as you can see, it has printed class 1 because there is class 1 on index 1. Okay, similarly, we have contain. So in this one, it prints a true or false statement, that the statement is true or false, like depending on whether it's true or false, it will print that, like I'm writing here in front of you. So I have class 1 in my index. In my header ID, the classes I have is with the name of class 1. Actually, I've put large brackets mistakenly, but I have to put like smaller brackets. Let me fix this. I save it. I write contains here. I save it. And as you can see, it's showing true. So if I write some other classes like class 2, it's showing me false. So these were some methods, but mostly we use the class add or remove, and toggle is the most important one, as classes are getting added and removed by clicking. Alright, and now on to the next lecture. Alright, so now in the DOM model, let's start by exploring the traversal method, which is being used for targeting, like which element, tag, node we want to select. So before doing this, I have to give you a review of the DOM model. Here we're having a parent element, the first and the last child element. I'll give you the short review about this. So as you can see here, I've taken the header, the section, the footer, and this is the body element. So you know that this is a parent and these three are the child. These are three elements, but they are siblings. So the first child of the body is the header and the last child is the footer. So you have to keep these things in your mind, because if you're using the DOM model, like we're working on parents and child, so you have to know about who's the parent and who's the child. Alright, so now I'll tell you how many methods are in this. So there are many types of traversal methods, like the parent node, the first child, the last child. So we'll check one by one. Okay, now I'm in my VS Code. I've made a document in which I've selected an outer and inner side. I've made a small box like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'll do targeting in it. In the script tag, I'll make a variable and write 1 here. I save it, and document.get element by ID. Alright, so in my inner one, I'd want to check like who's the parent here. So I'll write parent element. I'll put 1 in console log. I save it. So in the outer part, it has displayed who's the parent. So the parent of this is outer. Now I want to know like who's the parent of outer. So it has displayed that the outer parent is the body tag. Alright, so here if I want to use the body, I'll simply write the body here. And now as you can see, it has displayed that the body element is HTML. So I'll teach you about the styling. I'll just pick this, I paste it here. I'll change the method, which I've written here. I'll write get element by ID and write outer here and style the background and write the color pink. So I'll copy this and paste it right here. Okay, so my outer part is pink. If I write inner, now my inner part is getting pink. So if I use ID equals inner side, now here I just write side, and as you can see, the inner side has been changed. So it's not an issue because I spelled it wrongly, so that's why it's not changing here. It's not putting any effect, so if I remove it from here, it won't have any effect. Alright, now we'll check our next method, parent node. The purpose of the node is that it would display us the thing which we're not having any parent for. For example, HTML is a root element, which is not having any parent. Now, if I write the body here, it showed that its parent is HTML, but I want to find the parent of the HTML. I'll give an ID of main and I save it. Now the next thing we will check is the parent node. In the parent node, it happens that we have to target the elements, so it will pick those parents. Here I have target the outer, so it will check the outer parent, and if I target the body, It will check the body parent, so we'll check that element in which we're not having the parent. Alright, so HTML is not having any parent, so I have given an ID named main. I use main here, I save it, and it comes null here. Thus, it's not the solution of our problem. I want that if we check any parent, it would show the functions, so we have the method of parent node. I'll remove this and write dot parent node, I save it, it's shown in the document now, so by doing this, I can check all of the things I've used. So sometimes we have to show those elements in which we're not having any parent so that we can have any solution which we can use in the parent nodes. Alright, and now on to the next lecture. In this lecture, we'll learn about children and children nodes and how we can use them. This process is like the parent nodes. It's quite similar to the parent nodes. So let's dive in. Here, I've taken some parameters. We'll find how can we use the children method. So in the parent, we saw that it showed us a parent, but now we'll have to find the children of the parent. For example, I've taken the inner div. How much elements do we have in the inner div? This is one child, and these are children as well. I've called the inner here. I'll just write children, I save it, and we'll go to the console. And as you can see, it has shown a complete document that is index, length, and which element is on which index. So it checked all the children, but if I write the outer, so same as it is, now it's displaying me only 2 because there are only 2 children in the outer. One is of h2 and the other is of main inner div. And the remaining ones are their child, not of the outer div. So if I put inner here, I save it, it's showing all of them. This is the one method we have. Let's see how we can check a specific child. So I'll put brackets here. I'll give the index number 5. I save it. And now, as you can see, the 5th one is mine. So if I change 5 to 6, as you can see, it's showing undefined because it's not available. So if I put index 2 and I save it, now as you can see, it's showing my second index. So this is how we can use children. The second one has been shown. Alright, so if I want to put some CSS, then I can do that as well. I will use the children and will select 2, I save it, and now as you can see, that one has turned pink. This is how we can change it. Alright, so if I put 5 and I save it, now as you can see, the 5th one has been turned to pink. This is how we can use children and children nodes. So we have one more thing, which is the child nodes. And the child nodes are text inner side, attributes, classes, IDs. All these things will be shown to us in our console or the program we are making. As you can see here, all the index has been shown. So all the child, child out, child nodes in inner have been shown. But you have to take those elements where we have elements. Alright, so if I put index 0, then nothing will be shown. But if I choose its inner HTML, then it works. Okay. Oh no, so sorry, I made an error. Now I save it, it's showing me undefined. But if I use index 1, I save it, then the inner HTML of 1 is showing. But if I put 0 and save it, then it's showing undefined. Alright, so if I put 4, then still I'm getting undefined. Why? Because this is my node and it will never select my node. So that's why we use the child nodes, so that we can check where, like which node is getting used. Okay, so if I show you on index 4, the text has been shown. We always have to select our elements. And as you can see, all things are appearing in elements. This was related to our child nodes. Okay, so let me tell you once again the difference between child node and children. Children is for selecting children node. Some are parent elements and some are their children elements. For selecting the parents elements or children, we use children method in DOM. And why do we use the child node? We use the child nodes so that we can know which are the child nodes and children node. Alright, and now on to the next lecture. Alright, so let me now combine many of the things that we studied in the previous lectures and show you how all of these things work together if we were to combine them. And yeah, so let's see how it works. Otherwise, you'll not truly be able to understand properly how all of this works and like what it is used for. Okay, so if you have to use all of like the methods that we studied together, then you will know how to use them and where to use which method. Okay, so if I make a full program and do the work logically, then that lecture will be really difficult and lengthy. That's why we had to like spread it out over different smaller lectures. Okay, now we learn the first child and the last child method. So I'm removing this index. I used the first element child. Now I want to check what is my first child element. So I'm copying it and pasting it here as well. Now I'll put the green color. Whatever is the first child, it will turn green. I save it. And now as you can see in the inner ID, the first child element is this one. If I put the outer, I save it. As you can see, it's changed the outer. Alright, so here I'm putting outer as well. It's not useful since only that one will work. But if I want to check in the inner part to see like which one is my last child, I'll write last here, I save it. And now as you can see, my last child has been selected. That is my last child. Now as you can see, if I use my one more method, i.e. first child, I save it. And here you go, it's showing nothing. Why? Let me check in the console. So I'm facing an issue in the first child. I'm using the first child here as well. I save it. And here the outer is written. So if I write inner, I save it. I'm still facing an issue. So actually the error is appearing because in my first child there is any space or anything. That's why I'm getting an error. So if I comment this line, I save it. Here you go, as you can see, it's displaying. So there is a /n in my data, meaning that there is a space in my first child. In the previous lectures, we learned about the child nodes. So I'm opening that, and the child nodes we learned like on which one is our element and which is our text node. My text is on 0 index and my element is on 1. So I can select first child or last. This is the same as it is like the pseudo elements. Okay, so in the pseudo elements we learned about like how to select the first and last child, how to select a specific child, how to select siblings. But in the subsequent lectures we have a solution regarding like how to select the siblings, because here we have only used the first and last method. Okay, so here we are at the end of this lecture. And now let's move on and see in the next lecture how to select the siblings. Alright, and now on to the next one. Alright, let's now talk about siblings in JavaScript. So we have some methods related to siblings. In siblings we check which elements are brothers and or sisters. So I'll write previous element siblings and I'll select inner side and I save it. It won't show anything here because I have to open the console log and it's coming null here because the h2 is not having any previous siblings. But if I do it for the next one, so we can see 1, so like this we are having siblings, but it's not his sibling, it's his child, so it's showing like this and it's not having the previous siblings. But if I select this div, I'll give an ID named first div, but now I'll do the previous one here, so like the previous element siblings. And if I save it, it will show me the h2 inner side. Okay, so actually I've not changed the ID. I'll change the ID here and name it first div, which I've used before. So now it's showing me the h2. Thus, like this, we can find our siblings. If I do the next one here, it will show me the next one. I've used the next element siblings and it's showing me the h2. Okay, so if I select the outer div, it has its script, and if I used the previous one here, it's coming null because it's not having any siblings. Alright, so now if I create a div and write hello and save it, you can see in front of you its siblings. Alright, and now on to the next lecture. Alright, so now in this lecture we learn how to create elements, node, how to use comments through our JavaScript without using any HTML file. Okay, so alright, so I made an H2. Now I want to see like how can I do it through JavaScript. So how can I make it? I'll create a variable and we'll write document.createElement. As you can see, create element has appeared, so I have clicked on it. Now in the brackets I want to make the tag of h3. I save it. Nothing will be shown as I did not call it in the console log, so I'll call it in the console log. I save it. I went to my console. I see the element of h3 has been formed. If I want to create a node, then that's how I can do it. I'll copy this line and I'll paste it here. I'll put element1 and I'll put create text node in place of element node. Alright, so what will I write in the text nodes? MetaBrains. I save it. MetaBrains did not display as I did not call it, so I'll copy it. I'll paste it here. Then I'll put element1. I save it. And as you can see, my text node has appeared in front of us. So if I want to comment, then how can I do that? I'll write create comment, and then I'll write this is a JavaScript comment. I save it, and as you can see, it has appeared as a comment. Okay, so if I want to do it separately, then I can do it as well. I'll copy and we'll paste it here. Then I'll use 2. I save it, and as you can see, my comment has been added. So we've made elements and nodes separately. I want to create a node and in the element. So let me tell you how can we do that. I'll select the election I made, and in that I'll use a method append child. Okay, so append child method is used to attach the create text node with the create element. I'll use the append child. I'll call element1 in this one because I want to merge my element1 with the element. And as you can see, the h1 is separate and MetaBrains is separate, but when I'll save it, MetaBrains will be written in h3. Okay, I save it, I comment it because I've made it separate variable. So actually I've written text node separately as well, so this is not an issue. Now I want to display this element on my screen of the web page. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this lecture, and now on to the next one. Okay, so here I'll take the document.getElementById. I'll have to make a div. After making a div, I'll give ID with the name new. Then I'll write append child and we'll call the element here. I save it, and as you can see, MetaBrains has been printed here and there as well. I'll comment this console log. I save it, and now as you can see, it's been printed as well. If you don't want to print MetaBrains here, then you can uncomment it, save it. This is how the append child works. After the append child, you have one more method, which is like the insert before. Insert before means that the node we have made should be placed before a node. I take a p tag, for example, and will write lorem 100. I save it, and now I want like this MetaBrains to come before lorem. So how to make that possible? I'll make a variable here with the name of target. I'll write document.getElementId, and then I'll call my ID new. Now I'll call my variable and will write my method insert before. In the insert before, we have 2 parameters. The first one is the element we want to print, as I've made with the name of element, so I'll write element. Then we have the second parameter, which is the one we have to target and to print with the node. So I've already made it. I will write child nodes. We've already covered in our previous lectures how it works. So I'll put 0, I save it, and as you can see, MetaBrainz moved forward. Now I'll copy and make a new paragraph, and we'll write second so that we know it's second. I save it. I've put 2, so it moved there. But if I put 1, then it will not move there because it's a space. You know, how child nodes work. So yeah, I wrote 1, I save it, and as you can see, it's not working. I'll print this target in my console log. I'm writing target, so I save it, and now as you can see, this target has been printed here. Alright, if I put 1, then it will not appear. That's the node on which there are IDs, attributes, as we cannot style space and can't give anything. Okay, so that's why we have to put 2. If I put 3 and save it, it will not work on 3, but if I put 4, then it will move to the last one. So this is how the append child and the insert before and the create elements work. Alright, so that's it for this lecture, and now on to the next one. Alright, so now in this lecture we'll see what is the use of create and append method, like how we can use it. In the previous lecture we saw the 2 methods, append child and insert before, but here we'll explore the DOM create and the append methods. Alright, so let's begin. Here we've created an element, and after that we're going to insert the text, but now we're having these methods of create and append. So in this procedure we have the first tag, then the text, and after that text with tag, just as in our previous lecture, i.e. we make a paragraph and we add a text in it. So this is its process, and it's having all these elements in it, like insert, adjustment element, text, and HTML. Alright, so after all of this, we are having some position of insert adjacent. In this div, I've written a paragraph. After that, we are having some position. The first one is before begin. Second one is after begin. The third one is before end. And the last one is after end. The first one will work outside. The second one will work when the div has started. And the third one will start in the end of the div. And the fourth one will start after the end of the div. Okay, so now I'll go to my VS Code. I'll check them one by one. I've made a div in which the paragraph is given, and I'll start the JavaScript and write a script tag. Okay, I'll make a variable and name it as element in the document.write. And as you can see, this is a sample. I've made a div and I've given a paragraph in it. So as you can see here, I've written some of the code where it's having h1 and MetaBrainz types of things. So now I just have to target this. I'll just make a variable of target.document.element by ID. You can give classes named as div. Now I just want to see that where I want to print this, so on the start or on the last one. Okay, I'll write insert adjacent element. In this, we're having 2 parameters. First one is position, before begin. I want to start before the div, and I want to print this element right here. So see here, it has printed automatically. Now I'll change its position. I'll write after begin, and as you can see, it has come like this. If I write after end, so it has gone after end. Alright, these are the things related to insert append method. Now I'm having the next method, insert adjacent HTML. We'll see how we can use this. So firstly, I'll comment the first paragraph, and I've given a target in the ID. And in the next step, I'll make a new variable named first ALE. So I'll make an element h2. I write MetaBrainz here, and I see nothing has been displayed here because I've written element. So if I change it and write HTML instead of this, it will work now. If I write first ALE and save it. And as you can see, now it's working perfectly. Okay, I've not created the element, or I haven't made a new text node. I've just made a variable and a tag, and I've written MetaBrains in it. So after that, I just changed the method, like I've just changed the HTML instead of the element. So my HTML tag has been made. We've inserted the JSON text in which we just have to create the text. Okay, I'll create MetaBrains, I save it, and it has become a text just because I have written text here. Okay, I have to give a command of a JSON text. The text of T should be capitalized, and I'll write here after begin. I save it, and it has become its part, like it's the node of this div, and it's the child of this div. Okay, so you learned these things before in the previous lectures. Yeah, basically we just have it as a node. So basically in this lecture we studied about text insert, adjacent, HTML element, and we've looked after their positions as well. Alright, and now on to the next one.